Hello, dear listener. I'm your host, Hayk, and today my guest is a tech lead from Bulgaria, onboarding people into crypto. Borislav, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hello, Hayk. Nice to be here, and thanks for having me. It's kind of funny. I did not start out in tech. I actually studied finance, and only in 2014 I started with IT. An university opened in Bulgaria. It's called Soft Uni. I joined the first course in the university, and right after, a friend of mine introduced me to his brother, where I started in the industry. Shortly after, 2020, I became lead engineer at PokerStars. That's a widely known company. Later on, I became tech lead. I'm proud of my time being there. I did great things during the 4 years I was there. And nowadays I am in crypto. I'm leading the engineering at Incentive AI, part of the engineering at Incentive AI, where we are building a system trying to onboard the normies into the Web3 part of the universe nowadays.
Okay. And you've touched an interesting point. How did you enter the world of crypto?
Late 2016 was a time where I started noticing more and more content in the internet about crypto. In the early 2017, I started buying, and at that point, I started with repo, mainly XRP. Maybe it's a shame now, but it was pretty cheap back then, and I saw the potential. And at the time, I thought, okay, this is definitely going to be used by banks. This is something that is going to change the world. And at some degree, it is widely used now, and at some degree, banks use similar systems right now, not XRP, though. But yeah, that's how I started in 2017. I catch the 2017 hype. It's my third cycle in crypto now as someone who observes the space, and it's my second year working with crypto. But yeah, I started as an investor, and nowadays I'm building.
Let's get to that. Started as an investor, and in late 2020s, right? You started working closer to.
Last year,
Mhm.
the beginning of last year, I started. It happened like that. So I departed from PokerStars for one reason or another, and I decided to take some rest.
Mhm.
I decided I will not work for at least 1 year. I will take care of myself. I'll change my life. I will do something else. I'll figure it out during this period of time. And 3 months later, I don't usually use Facebook at all. So I opened the browser, I logged in, and the first thing I'm seeing is a guy saying, "We are a startup which just opened up. We are looking for someone, da 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 da, and we are in crypto, and we are doing this and that." And I was interested. So I wrote to the guy, and he's telling me, "We are going to onboard people on Web3. We are going to use the biggest forum in Bulgaria for that." And then he explains me the whole concept, who is the investor and everything. So I said, "Okay, I do like your concept. Let's work together." The concept is that you have an AI layer which serves as a loyalty layer. So it's loyalty as a service backed by AI. And you incentivize people to write meaningful content. And if they write meaningful content, they get points. And then we created a platform which we call a loyalty hub. That loyalty hub connects many loyalty programs. Everything in the loyalty hub is on the blockchain. So now you have a normal Web2 business, which is incentivized by loyalty, and you have the Web3 layer, which is simplified for Web2 users. We cut away all the complexity around creating a wallet and writing down the words, and we created a simple login with email for these people. So they
Mhm.
can now write something meaningful, take their points, come to us, exchange their loyalty for a crypto token, basically tokenize their loyalty points, and buy something which is a reward asset, like voucher for something or whatever. And now, if you think about Hub, you tokenized your loyalty points, but you also got connected to different loyalty programs that are in our Hub. So you can now exchange loyalty points for different loyalty points. It's like an exchange. Imagine you have 10 loyalty programs. We support 5 of them on our platform. You combine your points into one of them, let's say Lufthansa, for example, if they're not our partner. Just a hint. Yeah, but imagine if they were. You can exchange all loyalty points that you don't use from your different loyalty programs and buy a ticket for something, like a ticket for Dubai or somewhere else. So that's what we are trying to achieve. Just simplify this experience for the users and gain this Web2 capital and onboard it onto Web3, and then start to introduce more and more of the Web3 world to these users, like NFTs, for example, and everything else. And to me, why is this the correct way to do it? Is because almost everyone uses loyalty programs. Even if you don't know that you're using loyalty programs, you do use them, and you probably have plenty of them. And there is a statistic worldwide that only 50% of the loyalty points are used. And if you have 80% or even 50% of this loyalty, which you don't use, they expire and you cannot use them. But if you have a loyalty hub, you can just combine them and increase your value. And for the Web2 companies that we partner with, that's a great opportunity to increase their user base, to increase their loyalty, to increase their brand awareness if they're a smaller business. And it just sounded like a great opportunity. So we need this capital. We need more Web2 capital. And with the world that we live in, more and more countries adopt crypto in some way or another. More and more assets get tokenized. So why not loyalty points? Why not vouchers? Why not something else?
Before talking to you, I never even heard about tokenizing loyalty points. That's really something. I believe there are not many building in that space either.
There are. Actually, there is a company in Asia which is far ahead of us. They have more than 30 partners already, and they're based in Dubai. They're doing something great. And they were our first validation that this actually works. And because we are building in Europe and not Asia, we are not direct competitors, at least for now. But they were our first assurance that, yeah, this is something that people want. And it really is like that. People actually like what we do, and I believe that we will onboard people onto Web3 step by step.
Yeah, I mean, if you provide the opportunity for a person to take his loyalty points from a supermarket, from a shoe store, combine them and buy a ticket to somewhere, sure.
Yeah.
There's definitely a use case that, from what I understand, it's even harder to do that solely based on Web2 tech, right? The tokenization layer adds ease and opportunity for this.
Yeah. Well, how things work in the normal world, you're a company, you have a budget for marketing, and you take 10, 20, I think it's around 20% usually for most companies. You take that from your budget and you dedicate it to incentivizing people to do something. And that's thanks to loyalty points and loyalty programs. And that's usually a liability because the company takes some money and offers them to the people, even if they're going to spend them in the future. That's considered a liability. And if only 50% from these points are used, then this company has to recycle the points, right? And there is accounting for that, and there is all the paperwork. You have to recycle, you have to issue new points, and that's all back and forward. But if you take that money from your budget. Let's say you have a 100K budget this month for loyalty. Take 10%, take 20% to try and use our tech. This 20% come to us. They get into a liquidity pool, right? We back it with USDC, and that's it. That's what you have to do. And frankly, if we speak in Web3 terms, there is some return for you because you have taxes that come to you. On Uniswap, for example, you have 0.3%, I believe, which comes back to you. So you can deposit it back to the liquidity pool, and over time you generate a bigger liquidity pool and stuff. And you avoid all the paperwork and stuff around your loyalty points. And you get all the benefits that come with our product.
Sure. Okay. Up on this point, it all sounds very good and promising. And I want to ask you about the challenges that you face in doing this.
Pitching this to a Web2 company within Bulgaria or even within Europe is not very easy because, businesses are not very forward-looking. And many traditional companies don't have the appetite for experimentation. They're very cautious with Web3 as well. Now, Mika does not help with that. I hope that once that gets cleared, we'll get more adoption from normal companies. But acquiring partners has been the biggest challenge so far.
It's mainly because they are slow, or they are not competent maybe with the crypto, or they are scared of this whole regulation thing and they're waiting for it to play out maybe.
That's one part of the issue, and the second part of the issue is that they just don't want to change their current workflows, let's say. And for some companies, it's very difficult to see the value proposition when you say your loyalty points can be exchanged for different loyalty programs, and they say, wait, what? Why would I give my loyalty points to this company? So now you know that they didn't hear a thing from what you said, that they will get more customers, that their loyalty will increase because the users get a top up onto their loyalty, like additional benefits. That's something that we are trying to improve, like our pitching, but it's within Europe is very hard. I think that's why this company in Asia has been able to acquire more partners so far.
Well, I mean, if you would have been doing that in Dubai, I believe it may have been much easier, especially with all the shopping stuff going around there and the loyalty points they are speaking out.
Yes, sure, definitely. But one way or another, we will succeed in Europe and we will expand. Like if we succeed in Europe, there is nothing that can stop us, right?
Obviously.
So our motto: succeed in Europe. Yeah.
Okay. And who would you like to connect with on that way?
I would like to connect with more people who see the potential and search for other opportunities and potential to onboard people onto Web3. I would like to hear more opinions. I would like to hear more ideas. How do we do that? Because the Web3 sector needs it. We need more capital. We need to start onboarding not only companies, but customers. So everyone who's interested in that, I would like to meet and speak with.
And so can we say that you're potentially looking for people who are entrepreneurs or representatives of companies that have like loyalty programs and operate in the EU?
Yes, if you see the potential and you're operating in Europe, let's chat.
Yeah. Okay. You started from finance, then you went into tech, IT, and then you came into crypto.
Crypto is still tech. It's just a different kind of tech. The energy, the level, completely different.
Yeah. And throughout this whole years, you definitely learned a lot.
Yes.
And what I want you to tell me now is the most important thing that you learned throughout that journey.
Believe in yourself, definitely. People are capable of anything. So if you believe in yourself, then you can do it. Yeah, you should believe that you can, and don't get desperate. If you knew about Bitcoin back in 2012 and you got paid in Bitcoin and you sold it for fiat and didn't keep a single Bitcoin, yeah, don't get depressed. Everything is fixable. You will get another opportunity.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sharing the story and explaining what this world of tokenized loyalty points is. I believe it has potential, like me personally. I'm not really, I'm probably from the group that doesn't really use the loyalty points.
That's why you come to us, right?
Yeah, but I guess I will start it based on this conversation. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to us. Leave any comments you find interesting, and I'll see you in the next episode.